A warning tonight from senior Brookings Institution fellow and Washington Post columnist Robert Kagan. The United States is heading into its greatest political and constitutional crisis since the Civil War, with a reasonable chance over the next 3 to 4 years of incidents of mass violence. A breakdown of federal authority and the division of the country into warring red and blue enclaves. Now, Kagan says distractions, denial, and wishful thinking are all it takes to drown out the alarm bells until it's too late. Well, those alarm bells got louder this week with the release of a 6-part wild legal fantasy by one of former President Trump's advisors, John Eastman.
That memo, again, is a blueprint to overthrow an election. I mean, that's what it is. It's a blueprint to overthrow the results of an election handed to the Vice President of the United States, more or less, in the Oval Office.
Now, nearly a year after the election, the big lie is deeply rooted in the Republican Party's identity. In a recent CNN SRSS poll, 6 in 10 GOP voters said supporting Trump and believing he won in 2020 are a somewhat important part of what being a Republican means to them. To most of his diehard supporters, the violent insurrection on January 6 was actually an attempt to save democracy, even though more than 600 people have been charged with crimes tied to the attack, not to mention just all the violence we see here in this video. The sham Arizona audit didn't give Trump the win that he wanted either, but it did succeed in deepening distrust in the entire election system, and it set off a rash of other audits in battleground states, even though their elections were deemed free and fair by the courts.
We know that the people who are involved, the cyber ninjas, they came into this with preconceived notions. They've already stated they believe that the election was stolen from Donald Trump back in November of 2020, and they're going to continue forward with these type of allegations that are baseless.
And now there's going to be an audit in Texas after Trump demanded that Republican Governor Greg Abbott investigate election fraud without any evidence. By the way, Trump won Texas. Another sign of the power that the ex-president has over Republicans whose political survival is tied to his good favor and the support of his base. Meantime, Trump and his allies are working behind the scenes to put loyalists in charge of future elections. Reuters reviewed statements by 15 declared Republican candidates for Secretary of State in 5 battleground states and interviewed 9 of them. 10 of them said they believed the election was stolen or called for the results to be invalidated, and only 2 said that Biden won the election. Donald Trump is a leader of the Republican Party. He is flush with cash, and if he does run in 2024, he'll be better positioned than ever to contest election results not in his favor. So take a moment to really step back, connect the dots on how our democracy is under attack from within. For the record, the big lie isn't about overturning the last election, it's about winning the next one.